Hey, it's Dead Guy Cardboard. Hope you guys are doing well. So I have another cards to pick up now before the season starts video. This is for the upcoming 2021 season. I've had some pretty good success, I guess, the last couple of these videos. If you were to pick up a lot of those cards that I've mentioned from the 2020 and 2019 season, you would have done pretty well for yourself. For example, I had mentioned the 2015 Topps Chrome Francisco Lindor card when it was around $100. Now it's close to $600. I had mentioned the Bat Down card when it was about $200. Now that Acuna card's going for around $2,000. So I'm not guaranteeing those kind of results, but yeah, it's been kind of interesting to kind of find the right players for this list, because this list has always been about players I think are undervalued and overlooked coming into the season, just based off their talent and their potential and their exposure. Now, the way the cards have exploded this year, this list has been tougher than ever to put together. In the past, for example, most key top flagship rookie cards of star players would go for around $60 in a PSA 10. Now they go for around $150 to $300 depending on the player. But I think I have found some players that are worth looking at for sure. Started off with Manny Machado. His key Topps flagship card is the 2013 Topps card. And then his best card is the 2010 Bowman Chrome Auto. Tough card to find in high grade. But the 2013 Topps card in a PSA 10 goes for around $100 right now, and his Bowman Chrome Auto goes for around $330. But why Manny Machado? Manny Machado? Because he was actually the best player on the Padres team last year, better than Tatis. He came in third in MVP voting. Tatis came in fourth. And the Padres are just going to have so much exposure this year because of Fernando Tatis, and with the new acquisitions of Blake Snell and Yu Darvish. I mean, they're just a stacked team that could win the World Series next year. There's going to be so much attention on the Padres. There's just going to be more nationally televised games, and that's going to potentially increase Manny Machado's value. And I think Manny Machado has proved that he's still a great player. I think he could even maybe hit the 5-run home run club, maybe. But another thing to be aware of, I think a lot of the pressure now is on Tatis, because Tatis is the number one guy on the team. No longer is it Manny Machado. So Machado doesn't have that pressure, and I think he'll continue to do well. I would consider picking up his raw cards too, because they're very cheap, and these are not tough cards to grade because they have the white borders. Okay, next, a player to look out for is Nelson Cruz. So why Nelson Cruz? Well, yeah, he's almost 40, which is pretty much a big red flag. The last year he came in sixth in MVP voting, and the year prior he came in ninth. He's still doing very well late in his career and even at his age. And I think teams will still want him, especially if there's a universal DH across both leagues, which I'm sure there will be in the near future. Like, I think there will probably be this year and for the years to come. So that's why I think it's worth picking up, because yes, he's old, but he's at 417 home runs. That's just 83 home runs away from the magical 500 home run number. He averages 39 home runs a year, so he could theoretically do it in 3 seasons, maybe even 2. And as of this video, he's a free agent, but he could go to a home run friendly park too, which could really help his stats. And his cards are pretty cheap because he's old, and he had that PED scandal a couple years ago. But his key cards to get are the 2005 Topps Chrome Update and Highlights card. There's no PSA 10 pricing on this card because it just don't seem any graded. And his best card to get is the 2005 Upper Deck Authentic Auto out of 185. Very short printed, and a PSA 10 tends to sell for around $400 to $500. Fun fact about Nelson Cruz is he didn't have his first 30 home run season until age 28. So yeah, PEDs might have helped there, but worth taking a look at for sure. All right, another guy who has some home run potential is Eloy Jimenez. So why Eloy? Well, he's 6'4" and 235 pounds. Another guy that was about the same size at 6'5" and 240 pounds was Frank Thomas. And honestly, Eloy reminds me a lot of Frank Thomas. He had a great year last year, 1.8 WAR, 14 home runs, a 296 batting average. He'll be just 24, so he's still very young. And why I'm high on Eloy is because there's not a lot of pressure on him. He's just right now he's overshadowed by other players on the team like Tim Anderson, who had a great year, but Tim Anderson's 28. He's old. Jose Abreu, MVP season last year, but he's 34. And Luis Robert, who could potentially be a great player, but his prices are just way too high now. I would not bet on him right now. I mean, he had a pretty bad batting average too last year. But Eloy, I think, is still very affordable at $80 for his 2019 Topps PSA 10 card, and his best autograph card, is the 2017 Bowman Chrome Auto. That's around $410 at a PSA 10. But don't sleep on Eloy. All right, next, the big debate is who to pick up, Cody Bellinger or Christian Yelich, because both those guys had pretty off years for as well as they did the last couple of years, MVP caliber years they've had in the past. They did not perform well. Cody Bellinger batted 239 during the regular season. Yelich batted just 205. Yelich did not do well, but personally, I would go with right now because their cards are about the same price. I would go with Cody Bellinger. Why Cody Bellinger? Because Cody Bellinger is only 25 going into the season. He has 123 home runs already. He's got a beautiful swing. He's very Ted Williams-like, which kind of worries me. I don't think that translates too well in modern baseball, but he's got proven power. He's on a team that has way more exposure than Christian Yelich. Yelich is on the Milwaukee Brewers. The Dodgers won the World Series last year. And I also worry about Yelich's knee. I mean, people forget that he broke his kneecap towards the end of the 2019 season. And that might have been a reason why he played so bad. I mean, who knows? Last year was a weird year because it was a shortened season and people were, cooped up in quarantine. But right now, this is his key flagship rookie card, the 2017 Topps Update card in US 50. And a PSA 10 goes for around $225, which is about the same of Yelich's key rookie card. And then Cody Bellinger's best card is a 2015 Bowman Chrome Auto, which the base card goes for around $1,500. I think 225 is pretty high, but if you're debating between the two players, I would go with Cody Bellinger right now. All right, this is a guy I've talked about over and over again, but there's been good reason because his cards have gone up, and I think there's still room for them to go up even higher. This guy, Miguel Cabrera, he'll be 38 this year, definitely on the downswing of his career. But he's at 487 home runs and 2,866 hits. I think he'll probably get to the 500 home run club this year if he stays even semi-healthy. He seems to have his power back a little bit based off his stats from 2020. But this guy is a lock for the Hall of Fame. He was a Triple Crown winner. He's won the MVP. And his key cards to get are the 2000 Topps Traded Chrome card, which is in the PSA Registry set, Future Hall of Fame set. And his best card is the 2000 Topps Traded Auto. That card goes for around $5,000 at least in a PSA 10. Very condition-sensitive card. But I would look at these cards right now, especially the 9. So the 9 goes for around $150. I can see this going up to $300 once he reaches 500 home run club this year. And I can see this card, the PSA 10, which is now going for around $800 to $1,000, being worth as much as $1,500 this year. It's a pop of just, what's the pop? The pop is just 590 out of 2,407 graded. Very tough card to get in a PSA 10. But this might be the more affordable option. And, I don't know if he'll get the 3,000 hits this year, but he could in the next year, which will only help his cards. All right, next guy on the list is this guy, the man formerly known as Mike Stanton. Why Mike Stanton? Well, he's getting older. He's 31, and I like to call him Mr. Glass from the movie Unbreakable.
He called me Mr. Glass.
This guy is always hurt. But he is at 312 home runs, so he needs just 188 home runs to get to the 500 home run mark, which if you get in there, there's a good chance you're going to get into the Hall of Fame. Some water when I... But, if you look at that, so if he needs 108 home runs, he averages 43 home runs a season. And let's face it, he gets hurt a lot. So let's put that average down to 27 home runs for the remainder of his career. That means in 6.9 seasons, basically in 7 seasons, he will get to 500 home runs. So he'll be 38. It's definitely possible because he could just become a DH. And the way the leagues change, and I think both leagues will accept the DH, he'll have contracts, I think, deep in his career. His card to get is the 2010 Topps Update, US 327, which right now in a PSA 10 is going for just $65, which is definitely a steal nowadays. His best card is the 2008 Bowman Chrome Auto card. That card now is going for around $450 in a PSA 10. Now, people always debate, well, should I get a Judge or a Stanton card? I would get Stanton. So right now, Stanton at 28 has 119 home runs. Well, guess what Stanton had at 28? He had 305 home runs. Both those guys are very injury prone, but I would go with Stanton over Judge. Even though Judge is the face of the Yankees. But okay, I wanted to bring up one pitcher. Pitchers are not the greatest thing to collect and invest in. Their value kind of plummets pretty quickly because they can get hurt pretty easily. It's almost like an NFL player. Guys I don't think should be on this list that are great players are like Shane Bieber, who just won the Cy Young Award. His PSA 10 2018 Topps Update cards now are going for $75. I think that's a lot for a pitcher. Max Fried, outstanding pitcher for the Braves, really stepped it up after Mike Soroka went down. His 2018 Topps PSA 10s now go for $65. I think that's kind of pricey for Max Fried. Dustin May, who was a guy I thought about putting on the list. He's basically a rookie. Had a great year last year, but his 2020 Topps cards in the PSA 10 are going for around $65 to $75. Still has a lot to prove. So I don't know if I'd recommend him yet. But I would recommend Jack Flaherty. He had a down season last year at just a 4.97 ERA. But it's definitely a weird year. I mean, pitchers, I think last year definitely affected pitchers more than any other position, player compared to pitchers and players. I mean, you hear about pitchers having to warm up by throwing balls against mattresses and hotels. So you can't blame a pitcher for having a down year. But this guy is a stud. I mean, he's been compared athletic-wise to Bob Gibson by various sports writers. He's just a freak athlete. And if you look at his career stats, pretty solid. I mean, in 2019, he had a 2.75 ERA. He was fifth in Rookie of the Year voting in 2018. He's still just 24, which is pretty young for a pitcher. His cards to get are the 2018 Topps card. This and a PSA 10 is going for just $35, which I think is a pretty good deal. And then his best card is the 2014 Bowman Chrome Auto. On a PSA 10, that's going for around $150. Okay, so a guy I'm very, very high on, so is everyone, is Fernando Tatis Jr. This guy, if he stays healthy, could become the face of the league very soon. He reminds me so much of Griffey. You know, other guys like Soto, I think will have potentially a longer, more stable career because I don't think he's as injury prone as a guy that's just a freak athlete that could get hurt in fielding or something like Tatis. But another guy that's similar like Tatis is Acuna, but I think Acuna has the talent but not the swag. Even though Acuna's got the heavy chains and all that, there's just something natural about Fernando Tatis' swag. He's tall, he's got the blonde hair, he's got the pink armband. As a shout out to his mom, he's just so fun to watch. But I think his cards right now are pretty high. I mean, this in a PSA 10 is going for around $275. Although I would maybe pick this card up if it's below $300. There's a lot of these made, but it could be a deal at $300 or less. But what I would consider is picking up the 2019 Top Series 2 Hobby Box. That's the box that has Tatis cards, has Eloy Jimenez's cards, has Vlad rookie card, has Alonso's rookie card. Those hobby boxes are about $325, which is pretty cheap if you compare it to the 2018 Topps Update hobby box, which is going for $1,000. Granted, that Topps Update box from 2018 has Acuna and Soto rookie cards. I still think at $325, the 2019 Topps Series 2 hobby boxes are steal and could very well go up to much higher. Maybe not $1,000, but I can see that going up to $500 or more this year. Okay, finally, before I go into the retired players, my dark horse pick of this upcoming season is Corey Seager. Need some water. Why Corey Seager? Well, I think a lot of people are sleeping on this guy still. Last year, he had an outstanding year. He had a 2.1 WAR. He hit 15 home runs, a 307 batting average. They won the World Series, and he was the MVP. He's healthy again. He's still only 26. He's got a great career record. I mean, he was hurt for last couple years, but he was Rookie of the Year in 2016. Came in third in MVP voting that year. Came in ninth in MVP voting last year, and I think this could be his MVP breakout season. This 2016 Topps Chrome card in a PSA 10 goes for around $100, and his 2012 Bowman Chrome Auto goes for around $500 in a PSA 10. So he's my dark horse pick of this year, upcoming season. And he doesn't have a lot of pressure on him, like Manny Machado and Bellinger are the stars of the team, not him. So I don't think he has that added pressure. Okay. Just some honorable mentions before I get into the retired players to look out for. Freddie Freeman, excellent player, won the MVP last year. He's finally getting some hobby love, but I would avoid players that just won MVPs because their cards are always very highly priced. And then Bo Bichette, I know a lot of people are going to be asking me, why don't you do Bo Bichette? Well, I think he's only played in 75 games, and his stats are good, but not crazy good, like Tatis. So I would wait a little bit more on Bo Bichette before picking up his cards. Okay, now getting into the retired players to look out for that could get in the Hall of Fame very soon. Lou Whitaker. His key card is 1978 Topps card. Why Lou? Well, his WAR is 75.1, which is the highest of any position player not in the Hall of Fame that has not done steroids, other than Bill Dollahan, who was a player in the early 1900s who beat him by 0.2 WAR. Whitaker I think is just pretty much a lock to get in. He was Alan Trammell's main guy, and Alan Trammell's in the Hall of Fame. Whitaker's played for Detroit his whole career, which helps, I think. If you look at other guys from the 1978 Topps set that are in, Trammell / Molitor's rookie card in a PSA 9 goes for $1,000. Eddie Murray, his card in a PSA 9 goes for $1,000. By the way, Eddie Murray had just a 68 WAR, and Tremmel had a 70 WAR. Both had a lower WAR than Lou Whitaker. But this card in a PSA 9 just goes for $150. Now, I'm not saying it could shoot up to $1,000 like Eddie Murray, that Tremmel Molitor card, but it would definitely be worth more than $150 once he gets in, which would happen very soon. Another guy I would look out for is Scott Rowland. He's just a solid third baseman. Some think he's like the top 8 or 9 best third baseman of all time. He has a 70 WAR. I think he'll get in soon. But the reason why I have him on this list is because his best rookie card is the 1995 Bowman's Best card. Now that card in a PSA 10 has a pop of just 184 out of 1,989 graded. Very low pop card. Pretty expensive. It goes for around $300 to $500 depending on the day. And the Refractor is another key card to look out for from that set. Has a pop of just 3 in a PSA 10. Okay, so to close this video out, I'm doubling down on my man, Minnie Minoso. This is a card I just picked up. I mentioned him last year. I got to mention him again. He's just a Latin legend. He was literally one of the first guys that broke into the league as an international player from Cuba. Very good player from the 50s. I think he'll get in based off of the Major League having the Negro League stats counting towards the Major League Baseball stats. That will pad his stats even more. It also shows that Major League Baseball is thinking about even honoring Negro League players more than ever before. And I think the best way to do that would be to put Minoso into the league. Need some more water. Talking too much. He played in 5 decades, which is another kind of crazy fact. But the huge reason why you should look out for this card is because there's only 2 other Hall of Fame rookie cards from this set. That's Hoyt Wilhelm and Eddie Matthews. The Mickey Mantle card is not his rookie card, okay? Neither is the Mays. That's from 51 Bowman. But if he gets in, he'll be just the 3rd Hall of Fame player that has a rookie card from this classic set. So these cards will really increase in value. Even if he doesn't get in, it's just a gorgeous looking card. All right, that's it. We did a lot of talking. Hope you liked this video. Please like and subscribe. Later.